Hello and a very warm welcome to PTV World News. With the news at this hour, I am Fiza Sajawal.
And my name is Mazhar Nisar. Let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif achieves another milestone on the economic front as the President of UAE agrees to roll over existing loan of $2 billion and provide $1 billion additional loan.
Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif says Pakistan has great investment opportunities and the government is taking all necessary steps to facilitate foreign investors. Prime Minister expressed these views in a meeting with a delegation of UAE investors and businessmen who called on him in Abu Dhabi.
Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif meets Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai. Both leaders discuss ways to enhance existing bilateral relations.
President Arif Alvi, expressing strong concern over the state of national economy, has stressed that the political parties need to hold talks by rising above their differences.
A four-member delegation of the Saudi Fund for Development meets Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif in Islamabad, discusses Saudi-run projects in Pakistan. The Prime Minister thanks the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for announcing $1 billion aid for the flood recovery efforts.
Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif says sufficient reserves of wheat are available in the country and no one will be allowed to create an artificial shortage of the commodity for illegal profiteering.
US President Biden's legal team found another batch of classified documents in search of the second location.
Pakistan and New Zealand will play the third and decisive one-day international of the Tri-Series tomorrow in Karachi. Three-match series level at 1-all. PTV Sports will telecast the match live from 2:30 p.m.
Light to moderate intensity rain lashes different parts of the country, subsiding foggy conditions. Met Office says westerly wave affecting the upper parts of the country is likely to persist till Friday afternoon.
And now for the news in detail. The President of UAE agreed to roll over the existing loan of $2 billion and provide $1 billion additional loan. More in this report by our correspondent Fahad Mehsan.
Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif achieved another milestone on economic front as the President of the UAE agreed to roll over the existing loan of $2 billion and provide $1 billion additional loan. The agreement was reached out during the meeting of Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif with the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in Abu Dhabi. During the meeting, the two leaders explored ways and means to further strengthen bilateral ties, especially in the fields of trade, investment and energy. Both sides agreed to deepen the investment cooperation, stimulate partnerships and enable investment in integration opportunities between the two countries. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif invited Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, President of the UAE, for a state visit to Pakistan, to which he agreed. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif is undertaking a two-day official visit in the United Arab Emirates. UAE's Minister for Economic Affairs Abdullah Tokal Mari received the Prime Minister and his delegation on their arrival at the Abu Dhabi airport. The Prime Minister is accompanied by high-level delegation including key members of the cabinet. These back-to-back successes on economic and diplomatic fronts are not only a demonstration of trust of international community on Pakistan, but also help stabilize macroeconomic indicators of Pakistan's economy. This series of good news on economic packages from successful visits and diplomatic efforts of Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has turned out to be a breath of fresh air, infusing a new spirit and hopes in the people of Pakistan. Fahad Ahmed Missan, PTV World, Islamabad.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has expressed his profound gratitude to UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In his tweet, Prime Minister lauded the President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed for his decision to roll over $2 billion and provide additional $1 billion. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said and hoped that the support will help Pakistan tide over economic difficulties, and stated that we are deeply touched by the kind gesture of our Emirati brothers and sisters.
Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif met His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid welcomed the Prime Minister to Dubai and expressed his best wishes for progress and development of Pakistan under his leadership. The Prime Minister thanked His Highness for warmly welcoming him and his delegation. He underscored the importance of Pakistan-UAE relationship and expressed that Pakistan views UAE as a trusted political and economic partner. He also emphasized the exploring of further avenues to deepen the Pakistan-UAE relationship in all fields. Both the leaders discussed ways to enhance existing bilateral ties at all levels to benefit both nations. They stressed the importance of intensifying and strengthening communication between the private sector of the two countries in order to discuss trade and investment opportunities and turn these into tangible partnerships. Sheikh Mohammed praised the dedication and hard work of the Pakistani community, which significantly contributed towards the development of the UAE. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif praised the historical ties between Pakistan and UAE and reaffirmed his government's commitment to work closely with the leadership of the UAE to further enhance bilateral cooperation. The Prime Minister extended an invitation to His Highness to visit Pakistan at mutually convenient dates, which he accepted.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said Pakistan has great investment opportunities and the government is taking all necessary steps to facilitate foreign investors. Shehbaz Sharif expressed these views while talking to a delegation of investors and businessmen of UAE who called on him in Abu Dhabi. During the meeting, the delegation was briefed with regard to geo-economic potential of Pakistan in the areas of food and agriculture, aviation, power, alternate energy, including solar energy, financial services, healthcare, industry, logistics, real estate, tourism, and hospitality. Mohammed Hassan Al-Suwaidi showed interest in expanding ADQ's global presence and readiness to explore business and investment potential of Pakistan. ADQ is one of the largest holding companies in the Middle East region with a diverse portfolio of large enterprises covering key sectors of the non-oil economy of Abu Dhabi.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says his visit to the UAE aims at building on conversation he had had with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. In his tweets, the Prime Minister reiterated the resolve for continuous efforts to be made to further strengthen trade, investment and economic relations with the UAE.
Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif arrived in UAE on a two-day official visit. UAE's Minister of Economic Affairs Abdullah Tawq Al-Mari received the Prime Minister and his delegation on their arrival at the Abu Dhabi airport. The Prime Minister is accompanied by a high-level delegation, including key members of the cabinet. Apart from this, the Prime Minister will meet the Prime Minister and Vice President of UAE and the ruler of Dubai, as he has already met him, and Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. The Prime Minister also met with the representatives of Emirati investment companies. Furthermore, the Prime Minister also visited Wahat Al Karama to pay homage to the national heroes of UAE.
President Arif Alvi, expressing strong concern over the state of the national economy, has stressed that the political parties need to hold talks by rising above their differences. In an exclusive interview with BBC, the President termed it crucial to lower the political heat to avoid further deterioration of the economic situation in the country. President Alvi urged negotiations among all stakeholders, including the ruling coalition government and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. He said differences were part of democracy. However, it was crucial for all to make united efforts to save the country from economic collapse. Calling 2023 a year of elections, the President said the political parties should also negotiate about it, whether to hold the polls sooner or later, plus or minus a few months. The President said that he had been personally making efforts to reduce tension among stakeholders and termed social media a major reason behind the differences between Imran Khan and former Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa.
A four-member delegation of Saudi Fund for Development led by its chief Sultan al-Murshid called on Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad and exchanged views on Saudi-run projects in Pakistan. During the meeting, the Prime Minister thanked Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for announcing a $1 billion aid for the rehabilitation of flood-affected people. Shehbaz Sharif said the kingdom has always supported Pakistan in difficult times. The meeting was also attended by Finance Minister Sheikh, Law Minister Azam Nazir Tar, and advisor to Prime Minister Ahad Chima.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said sufficient reserves of wheat are available in the country and no one will be allowed to create an artificial shortage of the commodity for illegal profiteering. He said this while chairing a high-level emergency meeting regarding the artificial shortage of wheat and flour in the country. Hoarders and illegal profiteering will not be allowed. The Prime Minister advised the provinces to ensure timely supply of wheat to flour mills from their own and POSCO stocks. He said the federating units should improve their governance for timely delivery of wheat and its flour. He said prices of a 40-kilogram bag of wheat by around 1,000 rupees in the last 5 days due to effective measures were taken by the government, which is a welcoming sign. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the relevant federal and provincial institutions should take strict measures against hoarders of flour and wheat. The meeting reviewed the existing wheat stock in the country. It was informed that sufficient stock of wheat is available in the country and the provinces are being asked to speed up the delivery of wheat from the POSCO reservoirs to the flour mills.
Peshawar High Court directed the Food Department and District Administration to conduct survey of the market and informed it about flour prices. Hearing the suo motu notice on flour prices in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Chief Justice Peshawar High Court Justice Rashid, the price of the roti should not be increased from 20 rupees. The Chief Justice expressed his pleasure over Secretary Food's statement in the court, informing that the price of 20 kilograms flour bag in the market is 2,400 rupees.
The Sindh Food Department conducted raids in Naushera, Feroz and Kashmir and recovered 4,975 bags of 100-kilogram wheat from the hoarders. Legal action has been initiated against the defaulters. Meanwhile, action against the hoarders is also underway in Quetta. AC City Quetta raided a flour warehouse on Sabzal Road, Quetta, and recovered 1,800 flour storage bags of 20 kilogram and 40 kilogram each. ACCT sealed the warehouse and initiated legal proceedings.
Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has strongly condemned the terrorist attack on Afghan Foreign Ministry in Kabul yesterday. In a tweet, the Foreign Minister said he spoke to Acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan Amir Khan Muttaqi and expressed resolve to fight the menace of terrorism together. He said concerted efforts are needed to defeat terrorism.
Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has lauded additional support by the US for the ongoing reconstruction of flood-hit Pakistan and rehabilitation of the victims. He said this while talking to US Ambassador Donald Bloom, who called on him in Islamabad. Facilitation for visa interviews was also discussed in the meeting. The US envoy expressed resolve to support people of Pakistan, particularly the flood affectees.
British High Commissioner Dr. Christian Turner paid a farewell call on Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari in Islamabad. They exchanged views on Pakistan-UK relations and enhancing bilateral cooperation in various fields. The Foreign Minister expressed his gratitude for the announcement of an additional amount of £9 million in aid by the United Kingdom to help flood victims of Pakistan. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari also appreciated the steps taken by the British High Commissioner for creating climate change awareness in Pakistan. He expressed his best wishes for the outgoing British High Commissioner.
Chinese Ambassador Non Rong paid a farewell call on Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. During the meeting, bilateral relations between Pakistan and China, way to enhance bilateral cooperation in various sectors, including CPEC projects, were discussed. The Foreign Minister appreciated the services of the Chinese Ambassador in promoting bilateral relations between Pakistan and China. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari expressed good wishes for the Chinese Ambassador Non Rong.
MQM Pakistan convener Khalid Maqbool Siddiqui has said factions of MQM have decided to get united. Briefing media in Karachi along with other party leaders, Khalid Maqbool Siddiqui said it's our responsibility to lead country in the right direction. He hoped that with the latest development, Karachi will prosper as it is the economic hub of Pakistan. Khalid Maqbool Siddiqui reiterated that in prevailing situation and political stability is the key of success for development and progress of the country. On this occasion, both Mustafa Kamal and Dr. Farooq Sattar said it's a historic day for our country as we have decided to get united for welfare of our country.
The Lahore High Court has disposed of Parvez Elahi's petition challenging Governor Baligur Rahman's denotification order after Governor Punjab withdrew Chief Minister Punjab's denotification order. The order was withdrawn after the Governor's 19th December order's compliance was met. The order had demanded that the Chief Minister Punjab take a vote of confidence. Today, a five-member bench led by Justice Abid Aziz Sheikh heard arguments of both Punjab Governor's lawyer Advocate Mansoor Awan and Parvez Elahi's lawyer Barrister Ali Zafar. Barrister Ali Zafar submitted the documents regarding last night's vote of confidence, which were made part of the court's record. Punjab Governor's lawyer Awan presented the record to the Governor, after which the Chief Minister's denotification order was withdrawn as the vote of confidence compliance had been met. Later, while talking to the media, Governor's lawyer Mansoor Awan said the Governor has a right to take appropriate legal action if he feels the proper rules and procedure of the floor were not followed.
President Dr. Arif Alvi has summoned the session of Senate at the Parliament House in Islamabad at 10:30 a.m. on Friday. The House will discuss matters of national and international importance. Pakistan will hand over the chairmanship of the Group of 77 in China to Cuba today after completing its one-year term. In this regard, a ceremony will be held at the Trusteeship Council chamber where the baton will be transferred to Cuba. The program includes a video statement by Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, followed by remarks through video link by Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez. Among the others, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez Parilla, and UN General Assembly President Saba Karosi will also address the event.
Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah has condoled with the family of Director Inter-Services Intelligence Naveed Sadiq Shaheed at his residence. The Federal Interior Minister met his wife, son and daughter, sympathized with them and offered Fatiha for the Shaheed. He said the nation was proud of Naveed Sadiq Shaheed. Rana Sanaullah asserted that our Shohada gave unforgettable sacrifices for the protection, security and defense of the country. He said Naveed Sadiq rendered exemplary services for the eradication of terrorism.
The Executive Director of Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, Hans Gutman, called on Chairman NDMA, Lieutenant General Inam Haider Malik. Matters of mutual interest, including signing of host country agreement between Pakistan and ADPC, were discussed during the meeting. Both sides agreed on shared climate security's universal applicability of standard protocols and conducting training workshops and simulation exercises for emergencies. Chairman NDMA emphasized on developing mutual intellectual and academic fora as a collective approach towards disaster mitigation and disaster risk reduction with advanced outlook of National Institute of Disaster Management in Pakistan.
Authorities have decided to deport illegally settled Afghan nationals from Pakistan now that their sentences have ended. Around 530 Afghans have been released upon completing their sentences in different jails across Sindh. The released Afghans had been awarded 2-month-long sentences by different courts in the province for not having complete travel documents while entering the province. Around 800 Afghan prisoners are still behind bars in jails across Sindh. The Provincial Home Department has directed to inform the Afghan consulate in Karachi about the deportation of its nationals.
Pakistan's Sweet Home Blood Bank and Zimrat Khan Hilal Imtiaz organized a grand blood donation camp at District Bar Rawalpindi in a mission to save innocent lives, in which hundreds of lawyers actively participated to save innocent lives. On this occasion, the head of Pakistan's Sweet Home, Zimrat Khan, visited the blood camp and strongly encouraged the lawyers who donated blood. Speaking on the occasion, Zimrat Khan said he is very happy that his district bar has honored him, and a large number of lawyers came to donate blood on his call. He said Rawalpindi Bar Association has always played a leading role in the donating blood for thalassemia-affected children in all difficult situations. Zimrat Khan appealed to all judges, lawyers and other bars to support him in this great journey of service to humanity.
US President Joe Biden's aides have found a fresh batch of classified government records at a second location in a growing political embarrassment for the White House. The first cache was found at a private office in Washington, D.C. that President Biden used after his vice presidency. The matter is under review by the U.S. Department of Justice. Donald Trump is facing a criminal investigation for allegedly mishandling classified files. It was not yet clear when or where the additional tranche of files was found by Biden's aides. The original batch of about 10 documents was recovered in November at the Penn Biden Center, a think tank near the White House, but only came to light this week. Those papers reportedly include U.S. intelligence memos and briefing materials related to Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom. The White House has not yet commented on the newly discovered batch. Earlier today, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre declined to answer questions about the first cache of files during her daily press briefing. The U.S. President said he was surprised by the discovery of the files and was cooperating with the Justice Department's review. The controversy comes as the Democratic president faces scrutiny from a new Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. The committee is launching inquiries into the president and his family, including a request for the White House to turn over documents and communications related to classified files.
In the past few years, Hindu nationalist Narendra Modi and his Hindu Nationalist Party have tugged India far to the right, away from multicultural foundation and self-styled secular democracy. While the rise of Hindu nationalist violence has led to uneasiness and fear among Muslims, Indian authorities, rather than catching the culprits, are arresting dozens of Muslims and demolishing their properties.
In the past few years, Hindu nationalist Narendra Modi and his Hindu Nationalist Party have tugged India far to the right, away from multicultural foundation and self-styled secular democracy. While the rise of Hindu nationalist violence has led to uneasiness and fear among Muslims, Indian authorities, rather than catching the culprits, are arresting dozens of Muslims and demolishing their properties. The brutal Hindu nationalist BJP regime plotted to demolish houses of 50,000 Muslims in the middle of winter. Under severe international pressure and activism, India's Supreme Court has stayed an order which called for the mass demolition of over 4,000 homes in the hill state of Uttarakhand. All Pakistan Hindu Panchayat has condemned the mistreatment of Muslims in India. Human Rights Watch, in its World Report 2022, stated that the Hindu nationalist BJP-led government used abusive and discriminatory policies to repress Muslims and other minorities, and intensified and broadened their crackdown on activist groups and the media in 2022. The recent attacks on churches and Christians in Chhattisgarh, Karnataka and elsewhere post-Christmas and on New Year celebrations indicated continued violence against Christian minority with alarming regularity. The BJP government's promotion of Hindu majoritarian ideology, provoking authorities and supporters to engage in discriminatory and violent actions against religious minorities, and thus India is inching closer towards state-sponsored genocide.
Ukraine said its forces are fighting to retain control of Soledar, a town in the eastern Donetsk region, but the situation remained difficult. Deputy Defense Minister told reporters that the fiercest and heaviest fighting is continuing today in the area of Soledar. She said despite the difficult situation, Ukrainian soldiers are fighting stubbornly. Russian mercenary group Wagner claimed earlier this week its forces had captured Soledar, but the defense ministry in Moscow said fighting was ongoing and Ukraine denied any full takeover. Both sides have conceded heavy losses in the fight for Soledar and the nearby town of Bakhmut, a key military objective for Russia. Russia wants to gain control of the entire eastern Donetsk region, which it claimed to have annexed last year, despite not having complete military control over it. Its capture of Soledar would allow Russia to sell a much-needed victory back home after months of humiliating setbacks. Russian attack caused an explosion in Kherson Maternity Center on Wednesday. Smoke was seen rising from the building, blown out windows and damaged walls. Regional governor said the explosion was caused by a shell damaging doctors' offices, but that staff and patients were left unscathed.
President Vladimir Putin has removed Russia's top commander in Ukraine just 3 months after he was installed. Chief of the General Staff Valery Germesov will now lead what Putin terms a special military operation. The reshuffle comes as Russians claim they are making progress in eastern Ukraine after suffering a series of military defeats in recent months. Shortly after he was appointed to lead the operation in October, Russia began its campaign to destroy Ukraine's energy infrastructure, leaving millions of Ukrainian civilians without power of running water or extended periods in the depths of winter. He also oversaw Russia's withdrawal from the southern city of Kherson, a major success for Ukrainians. The Myanmar military launched an airstrike on a prominent training camp for pro-democracy forces close to the Indian border, with jets dropping at least 2 bombs inside Indian territory, according to eyewitnesses. The Myanmar junta, who seized power in a coup in February 2021 and are engaged in a bloody battle to crush pro-democracy insurgents, began bombing Camp Victoria in Myanmar's Shin state on Tuesday afternoon. Camp Victoria serves as the headquarters of China's National Army, an ethnic armed group which is fighting alongside other rebel groups to restore democracy in Myanmar under the banner of People's Defence Force. The training camp is located just a few kilometers from the border with the Indian state of Mizoram.
Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang said that Africa should have a greater voice in the UN Security Council and other international bodies, long a demand of the continent's leaders. Qin made the call in a statement issued as he met the head of the African Union Commission, who voiced frustration at what he said was exclusion of Africa from international governance. AU Commission Chief Musa Mohammed Faki said it was unfair that the African continent did not have a permanent seat on the top world body. The United States says attacks in space would invoke its defense treaty with Japan and announce the deployment of a more agile marine unit in its ally as alarm grows over China. Weeks after unveiling plans to ramp up defense spending, Japan sent its defense and foreign ministers to Washington for talks on updating the decades-old alliance. They will be followed 2 days later by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who is touring a group of 7 nations to kick off Japan's leadership year of the elite club and signed a deal with Britain to increase defense ties. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the unit would be in place by the year 2025 from a reorganization of an existing artillery regiment.
Iran has sentenced a former senior defense official to death after convicting him on charges of spying for Britain. According to semi-official Tasnim news agency, the judiciary said Ali Raza Akbari, who was Deputy Defense Minister until 2001, was a key spy for British intelligence. Tasnim also reported that he had spied on past nuclear talks between Iran and Western powers. Britain called for the execution to be halted and for Akbari's immediate release. Peru was rocked by further unrest as demonstrators blocked roads and held mass funerals for those killed in the violent protests that have gripped the country, while the United States called for restraint on both sides. In total, 40 people have died in over a month of protests demanding the departure of President Dina Boluarte, who took over after the ouster and arrest of her predecessor, Pedro Castillo, on 7th of December. Peru's prosecutor's office said it was opening a genocide investigation against Boluarte and other top officials as a result of the deaths.
South African power cuts worsened as struggling state utility Eskom said it would extend its worst ever outages until further notice. The state's 6 power cuts mean 6 to 8 hours a day without power for most South Africans and require up to 6,000 megawatts of capacity to be shared from the national grid. Eskom has a nominal generation capacity of roughly 46,000 megawatts, but on Wednesday more than 23,000 megawatts of that was offline because of breakdowns or planned repairs. The country witnessed more than 200 days of power cuts in 2022, the most in a calendar year, and the situation could get even worse in the year 2023. The French and German foreign ministers arrived in Addis Ababa on a mission to support a peace agreement signed last year to end 2 years of brutal war. The visit by France's Catherine Colonna and Annalena Baerbock of Germany began a day after Tigrayan rebels announced they were starting to hand in their heavy weapons, a key component of the November 2 deal to silence the guns in northern Ethiopia. During the 2-day trip, the pair are due to meet Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and other ministers, as well as African Union officials and human rights campaigners, and visit a World Food Programme distribution center.
11 people have been arrested in Mexico's capital in connection with an attack on a well-known journalist. Television and radio host Cairo Gomez Levia survived the December 15th ambush by motorcycle-mounted gunmen who fired at his armored vehicle. Mexico City's attorney told the news conference that 11 arrested could be charged with attempted murder when they appear before the judge. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador last month condemned the attack but faced backlash after he subsequently bashed prominent journalists who were critical of his administration. A carriage in Mexico City's bustling metro caught fire this morning, the latest incident in the capital's train network. The fire happened at the Polantico train station. According to reports, commuters disembarked from the train and no injuries were reported. Officials are investigating a possible cause for the fire.
The World Health Organization has declared an end to the outbreak of Ebola virus in Uganda that emerged late last year and claimed the lives of 55 people. The Minister of Health of Uganda said that the Ebola Sudan virus breakout in the country has ended after no news case was reported over a period of 42 days. The WHO requires that for a country to be declared Ebola-free, it should spend 42 days without any new cases reported. The minister made the announcement in the central region district of Mubende, which was the epicenter of the outbreak. WHO Director General, in a statement, congratulated Uganda and its partners for the robust and comprehensive response to combat and defeat the virus. The latest Pacific storm unleashed torrential downpours and damaging winds in California a day after heightened flood and mudslide risks prompted thousands of evacuations and caused widespread power outages. More than 33 million Californians were threatened by severe weather throughout the day, as heavy to excessive rainfall is expected across the state. At least 18 people are known to have died in the recent series of storms that have lashed the western United States, bringing rainfall levels not seen in 150 years to some places. The high winds wreaked havoc on the power grid, knocking out electricity to tens of thousands of Californians. As many as 220,000 homes and businesses were left without electricity. The treacherous weather expected to dump as much as 7 inches of rain in most spots, which could produce widespread flooding, rapid water rises, mudslides and landslides, especially in areas where the ground has been saturated from previous heavy rainfall.
A sports car was seen driving through the lobby of an upscale hotel in Shanghai. Incident took place after a guest had a dispute with the management of the luxury accommodation. A 28 years old man was arrested in relation to the incident in which no one was injured. Preliminary investigations revealed he was upset because of the loss of a laptop during a stay at the hotel. Well, Chinese police have arrested a man who drove a car into pedestrians in Guangzhou, killing 5 people and injuring 13 others. The incident has sparked widespread public outrage, with many accusing the man of deliberately targeting people. Police have detained the man and launched an investigation. The crash took place during evening rush hour at a busy junction in southern city of Guangzhou. Birth anniversary of renowned poet Ahmed Faraz is being observed today to pay homage for his unique and memorable poetry, which impressed the young generation of his time. More in this report.
मेरा कलम तो अमानत है मेरे लोगों की, मेरा कलम तो अदालत मेरे ज़मीर की है, इसीलिए तो जो लिखा तपा के जान से लिखा, जभी तो लोच कमां का जुबान तीर की है, मैं कट गिरूं कि सलामत रहूं, यकीन है मुझे कि ये हिसारे सितम कोई तो गिराएगा.
Ahmed Faraz was born in Kohat on 14th January 1931. He was considered one of the greatest modern Urdu poets of the last century. Persian and Urdu at Peshawar University. He later became a lecturer at Peshawar University. His poetry has been translated into English, French, Russian and German. His several ghazals also shot to prominence in films during 1970s, including Ranjishi Sahi and Ab Ke Hum Bichhde.
रंजिशी सही दिल ही दुखाने के लिए आ फिर से मुझे छोड़ के जाने के लिए आ.
पहले फिर भी कभी तो रस्म रहे दुनिया ही निभाने ये.
He has been awarded with numerous national and international awards. He was awarded the Hilal-e-Imtiaz in 2004 in recognition of his literary achievements.
ये आलम शौक का देखा न जाए, ये आलम शौक का देखा न जाए, वो बुत है या खुदा देखा न जाए, ये आलम शौक का देखा न जाए.
He died in United States on 25th August 2008. He was acclaimed as one of the best Urdu poets of contemporary era. And he is much popular, particularly among young generations, for his romantic poetry. Anam Shehzad, PTV World News.
Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Education Theatre will inaugurate the School Theatre Initiative in Riyadh in partnership with the Theatre and Performing Arts Commission and the Ministry of Culture in cooperation with Australia's Monash University. The initiative aims to develop and empower a supportive system for national talents to contribute to the creation of inspiring theatrical content and to create new job opportunities in the theatre and performing arts sector. The initiative aims at covering 19,647 public schools throughout the kingdom and training 25,540 male and female teachers.
Jeff Beck, one of the most influential rock guitarists of all time, has died at the age of 78. Beck's death was confirmed on his official Twitter page. The British musician rose to fame as part of the Yardbirds, where he replaced Eric Clapton before forming the Jeff Beck Group with Rod Stewart. His tone, presence and above all, volume redefined guitar music in the 1960s and influenced movements like heavy metal, jazz rock and even punk.